Hey, what's up, Scott Balcom here with Imagination Creation Films, and it's Thursday, and I kind of miss these live streams, but being out and about a lot has really just kind of put a cramp on that, hasn't it? It's just not quite the same, but I wanted to do it, and so I am going to live stream for just pretty much as long as I can here. We'll see what's going on. I don't know if I'll leave this one out there or not. It just depends on, I guess, the audience participation and how many folks are joining or not. But yeah, it'll be a good time. Hey, hello, Richard. How are you, buddy? I am out in the middle of a forest, just doing my thing, getting ready for a weekend of fun and work and all kinds of good stuff like that. How's Florida treating you? Florida treating you good? I well, last week I did this and I didn't get that many people. I think it's because I'm not posting. Well, I'm on my phone, which obviously you can tell that because the quality, the production value is so awesome. Um, but I didn't post to propagating bananas. See, the thing about bananas that I learned that was interesting, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it's what I was told that a banana tree, 36-hour fast, that a banana tree will only produce one crop of bananas, and then it never produces another banana. I don't know if that's true or not. Is what I was told, and so what you see is you always see the banana tree growing and growing because there's actually a new banana tree next to it that is putting out the bananas. I don't know. Sounds cool. Sounds like nature kind of thing. So yeah, I've been actually just chopping wood today. Just sitting here in my little campsite. I've got my really cheap phone holder right now. Yeah, that's cool. I wonder if I could live stream on the GoPro. I'd probably do that. I don't know. It would cost me, I think. 'Cause I can do unlimited on the phone, but the moment you tether something, oh my God, oh it's just totally different data. Yeah, they just love money. Uh, so you got any cool projects lined up there, Richard? Anything cool? That broke finally. Um, I have. I've delivered one of the commercials that I was working on. I've got three more cuts, or three more versions of it to cut. And then next week, off to Dallas, got interview up there. And then I go with Jim, who has been on here, go on a road trip, heading out towards NAB. We're going to do, let's see, where are we going? We're going to New Mexico, up to Santa Fe, or Meow Wolf in. It's like a really cool. Hey, Bill, how are you? Meow Wolf is like this really cool art installation indoors, museum kind of thing. We're going to do that because I've seen it. And it looked amazing, so I want to go check it out. Then we're going to go Albuquerque. Then we're going to the Petrified Forest in between Albuquerque and Flagstaff. Then we're going to Sonoma. Then we are going up to Flagstaff. Then let's see, we're from Flagstaff. We're going to Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. We're doing Horseshoe Bend, which will be a mess. I'm sure there's millions of people go to that now. Then we're going up to Zion National Park, and then to Vegas, and then from there, I think Joshua Tree, and then up the coast again. Big Sur, all the way. Probably, possibly, don't know if we're doing the redwoods again up north. That might be a thing. But we actually have more than just me. There will be four of us for part of the journey, and then we'll be gaining another one, and then we'll lose two of them, and then there'll be three of us cruising around. It's going to be a lot of fun. Filmmakers like to have fun when we travel. Who else is out there? We got Bill and Richard, and someone else is paying attention but not saying hello. Funny how that works. So, Bill, appreciate you doing your thing this week for the challenge. I've been so like heads down in this commercial, trying to get it out. Getting approvals is tough. You send it out, and then you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and then they come back and they're like, "Oh, we want something completely different." Okay. Let's see. What else is going on? There's lots of cool stuff going on. Really, really loving the new the DSMC2 unified body. It is cool. I miss the 6K over the 5K, mostly because I'm almost always finishing in 4K. And with, hey, Tim, sorry about not working customer support with in the background. Yeah, no problem, Eddie. I just like to know who's out there to say hello. Hello, Jamie. I miss the going from 6K to 4K. It gives me basically 50% punch-in ability, but it also makes a really, really clean 4K. With 5K to 4K, I lose 5K still. You're right, Jamie. You're right. It stinks. It's horrible. No one should ever have 5K. With 5K, I only get like a 25% punch-in. And so it shows up at times. This commercial I'm working on is no big deal. It's in 1080, so I got plenty of punch in there. The interview next week is 5K, or 4K, but I'm not editing that, so that's not a problem. And I have 3 interviews to edit after NAB. That's going to be fun. That's a lot of work there. And then, let's see what else is going on. This is my first weekend to actually kind of pseudo relax a little bit. Out here, I'm not going to be lugging the red around, which is nice. I'll probably end up just doing a lot of time lapses and stuff just with a little GoPro just to have some fun. We record me in 5K and punch in 25%. Yes, I will record you and punch you in 5K, Jamie. Jamie, I need to get our shoe spec commercial finished. You're gonna be famous there, Jamie. 115,000 people are going to see you. Violence is not the... You're right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run with you with the camera in front, and I'm going to have my fist out, and then I'm just going to stop. You're going to run into me, so it's all going to be your fault. But yeah, our little our shoe spec commercial. They really liked your some of the shots that you were in. So I'm pretty sure those have made the cut and will be actually presented in front of 115,000 people. So Jamie, you got a little bit of you're gonna have some exposure there. Exposure bucks. Let's see. NAB news. NAB. Anybody excited for NAB? I am at the point now where I do it, I would say 75 to 80% now to talk to people. Definitely the interaction. Send me a video of it on the big screen. I'll share it. Okay. I'll do that because I want to be famous too, Jamie. I had a small role in that. I mean, I didn't run or get sweaty or anything, but I was there. I mean, I was in a supporting role. I think specifically they like when you were running across the lake with the sun behind you. I thought it was a pretty good shot too. Let's see. NAB. I mean, I go to talk to vendors and kind of check out what's coming and make relationships. I'm a big relationship guy. I don't beg and plead for anything. I like to get to know companies and companies that that I mesh with, or they become friends. And I would much rather have a friend for a company than just an interaction company. Like the hold on, now we're all chiming in. Oh, I had people steal my phone. Oh, that's not good. I'm back. The mother is the big one that makes the bananas. Okay, yeah, there's the bananas story. Sorry, I had my glasses on. What was I saying? What was I saying? That's sad. Gosh, I'm old. I know it was NAB. Oh, yeah, companies and relationships. It's kind of like me and Kessler. I just, you kind of click and you become friends. And I'd much rather have that friendship relationship with a company than just be a consumer and a manufacturer. It's boring, because when you're friends, you help each other, and it's not hey, here's something, or anything like that. It's just you don't try to slam someone. Like, if you have a problem, you don't take it to the world and go, oh, this sucks, or whatever. You say, hey, check this out, and then they work with you, you work with them, and then things happen, and magically you get results, and that's what working with friends is. That's why it's so much better than just I bought this and they sold me that and I have this. Relationships, you got to build relationships. People are everything, and a company is people. When I mean, I like to think that people who hire me hire my company because of what my company can do, but in reality, they're hiring me. They're hiring, well, this beautiful. Look at that. Oh wow! They're hiring this logo because wow, that was designed awesome, and that's what they're hiring. They're hiring people, and you got to remember that, because you can be the best company in the world, but if you're a bad people, you're not going to get hired. You gotta be people. I like that. So I sit out here. I always come early so that I can just be here quiet by myself, and I have my little book here that I kind of fill out. What I got in here? What is this? Oh, there's some ideas and shots to shoot. Ooh. My time travel idea. One day I will shoot that. There's so many details. These are the rules just for, hopefully that's not in high res and people can just pause it. I mean, there's even more rules and more rules. There's so many rules to this time travel, because if you're going to make a time travel, show, it has to be based on some science, and science will tell you, well, time travel is not possible. I don't know about that. I think I think we're finding out that time travel is going to be possible. The biggest thing that everybody says is that well, you can't go faster than the speed of light. Well, that's not true, because they're actually successfully doing that now. I think I talked about this once before. They've done tests now multiple times. Multiple different science organizations have done it, where they are sending out, I think they're photons or something, and then they're receiving them on the other end. And they have successfully now sent the photon and detected it coming there before they sent it. I'm going to put these back on super bright. I know that sounds really far-fetched, but they've proven it now multiple times that they can do this, and it's kind of it's kind of cool, I think. You pull the trigger for it to go, and before you pull the trigger, they've already got it. It's I think what it is I didn't make this connection until the other day. There was some article about that. There's like, what do we got here? Did the multiple science organizations receive a price for the tripod? Yeah, Richard. My only problem with that is I hate every time I sell gear. The next day I'm like, oh, ooh, I wish I'd have had that. Ooh, I wish. Ooh, what? And I hate getting rid of gear. And the other problem with that is that the prices are so low on those tripods now that I would almost tell you to just buy new, just because I mean it seems almost more reasonable that way. Um, the science. Yes, I missed that mic actually. I wanted to use it the other day. uh, the uh, the quantum physics, I think, is where it is. There was an article about, and I know this is supposed to be filmmaking and photography, but there was an article about quantum states, and that they have extrapolated out. That's how you make money. Rent it back. Um, that that in quantum particles, basically, it is. If you don't know, it's you can pair particles together, and when you move this one, I'm moving my left hand, but the right hand is doing the exact same thing. They're paired together forever. China has actually a satellite where they have done this. They have paired two quantum particles together. They send it up there. And because they're paired together, they can actually have it do the same thing at the exact same time, zero delay. So they can change. They do it with mathematical calculations. They have it do mathematical calculations, and then they change the calculation. It changes up in space at the exact same time. So they're paired. So basically, distance doesn't matter. They're paired through the universe, and it's wild. But there was a concept that that there are multiple quantum particles that are paired together, and that they constantly are doing different things, but they're all part of the same connection. Meaning, I'm losing followers just because I went off in quantum particles. Meaning that when I choose to do something, or when I pull that trigger for the electron or the photon to go across, that there are quantum states of that it's already happened, that it hasn't happened, and that it will happen in the future, and that it happened a different way. And so that's the only way I could justify you pull the trigger and it arrives beforehand, is that there are quantum states where it's already happened, which is really, really weird. And it definitely gets me thinking, maybe we are in the Matrix. Maybe we are just a simulation. This guy has the ultimate camping vehicle. It's a Corvette. He's parking in sand, so he's probably already stuck. So yeah, time travel. My time travel show that I have been working on for years now. Having to put all the rules in place to make it work. 3D printers go. That didn't suck. Schrodinger's cat squared. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That is, I mean, honestly, that you could tie that to quantum. You really could, because the cat could be dead and alive at the exact same time by quantum physics. See the stuff you learn on Scott's channel? Oh yeah. So time travel, yeah, well, that's a woodpecker. Where are you? Oh, oh, he's right there. That was kind of weird. Time travel. What kind of stuff do you like to see in time travel shows, if sci-fi is your thing? I yeah, my premise. I always say to people, just share your ideas because no one's going to steal them. In this case, I'm not going to follow my own advice because I feel like my idea is so unique. I think that it could easily be ripped off, but it's time travel, and it's it. Yeah, but what kind of things would be interesting in time travel movies? I mean, for production's sake, I can't, go back and recreate World War II or anything like that. It's got to be more simplistic so that I can actually, pull it off. But, let's see what we got here. Richard, I recently discovered a woodpecker near my house. Thought it was someone doing construction. Turns out the little fellow was mentally challenged. Yeah, this was one of those little tiny woodpeckers. He was only about this big. We have lots of different woodpeckers out here in the there we go, in this environment. Wow, it's so bright. Anybody working on Richard? You're needing a tripod. I mean, it is very small and blue. This one is black and white, actually. Little bitty guy. So sad, so dumb. Well, interesting is they say that a woodpecker, its brain, when it hits, it's over 100 G's of force, which would kill a human. But yet, this is its head, and it's not killing it at all. That's really, really interesting to me. How do they do that? Let's see here. Got to run. Shoot starts in 15 minutes. Take care, buddy. Got the Mercedes all. Oh, yeah, if you can't see it. There it is. It's all clean and pretty. I had to get my service done. Must have fluid as shock absorbers. Well, yeah, they say their brain is completely encased in like a fluid sac, and that helps. It's kind of impressive. Nature is interesting. Had to get the Mercedes oil done because of, or it's due for its. Mercedes is so weird. You can't just go get your oil changed, $36 at Walmart. You have to go and have all these things done, or else they void your warranty. And they have them, they're called A service and B service and then C service, and each one of them has a set price. They make lots of money doing it. When I bought this, I actually negotiated several of the services for free, so that I don't have to worry about it later. Because like the B service is like $400. That is not chump change when you are self-employed. And it has like 38,000 miles on it, and you're supposed to do it every 20. And so mine was going to come up while I was on my way. I like how California tells you everything everything does cause cancer. Everything will cause cancer. It is, I guarantee it. You can die from everything. It's all about the quantity. Yeah, it had like 1,500 miles before it would expire, and then if you don't get it serviced, it keeps the log of that, and then you void your warranty. So I just had it done. So now I can travel 20,000 miles again and have a good time. It's been a good van. I do like it. I did get to see the 2019s. The rear end of the 2019 is exactly the same, but the front end is like the dashboard is so much cleaner and nicer than this. This one is very work truck. Cotton glove liners, yeah, perhaps. But I will not be buying another Mercedes Sprinter. I don't believe. mostly just because of the expense of maintenance on these. I mean, mine has been, knock on wood, knock on woodpecker, um, been trouble free, and it gets really good fuel economy. I just know that things are coming down the way, and it's going to be expensive. I think the one that I would get next, the Ford Transit for 2020. They have a new twin turbo diesel, which is important. I do like the diesels. And it makes a whole lot more power than this. And the Transit is going to be all-wheel drive in 2020. That's kind of nice. That would take me just a little bit further. Now it is only all-wheel drive, not four-wheel drive, because the Mercedes is an actual watch out a barbecue. The Mercedes is actually a full four-wheel drive, so it's lifted up a little bit more. It has a full transfer case. You could rock crawl with it, although you wouldn't. It's just the center of gravity and the approach and departure angles. But just having a little bit of all-wheel drive, I got that thing buried in the mud. It's pretty bad. All-wheel drive probably would have got me just a little bit further stuck. Yeah, that's it. I think I was mentioning this last week or the week before on my second channel, Raw Cuts, which Richard, I definitely have clamped onto Raw Cuts. I got to figure out what to do. So, like the music that I normally use, I use from Epidemic Sound, which I have a subscription for, but that's per channel, which means if I create another channel, I have to pay for it again. So I am thinking of just writing or using my own music, which is not that great. And it's going to slow me down, but I'm really kind of digging that. Let's see. Got blackout curtains for my seamless. Oh yeah. That is key. How's that seamless paper working for you? Have you been trying the Scott Balkin interview technique? The next thing you want to do is get one of those colored lights, just a clamp light, and put colored LED bulbs in it, or buy the RGB bulb and shine that in the back, and then you get your white or your gray turns into all those pretty colors. It's pretty nice. Would if I had like a t-shirt or a hat for sale on the channel, need my lights back home. Do you think anybody would buy it? I mean, I don't really have a huge channel, and I don't really. I don't really. I've never really had. Got an 8-foot table, nice. I don't really have a desire to sell merchandise kind of stuff, but I feel like it might be fun, and it's a way for people to show support to the channel. I have bad days and good days, that kind of thing. But snapback and flat bill, not like red. The question would come in. I mean, I don't want to sell IC Films stuff, mostly because this is my brand for my stuff. I kind of want to sell something along the lines of like slogan or like I say at the end of every vlog and everything. Let's see, like the Kessler more expensive one that they gave me and use all the time. Is that the stretch one? Is that the one you like, or is it the one with the which logo is it? Is it the they have a stretch, and then they have the one with the arms, or what do they call it, coat of arms symbol or whatever it is up top. I think the classic, the round patch. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that one. I actually don't have one of those. Carl Morris, hi Scott, just stumbled upon your channel, watched your video. Oops, don't go away. Watched your video at Matte Boxes, enjoyed it, and gave you a sub. Well, thank you so much. I'm here for questions. If you have any questions, feel free to just throw them my way. Yeah, Matte Boxes. Matte boxes are one of my passions. I went the Chinese route, as you could tell. I had it in the video, and I swear, I wish I hadn't. And then eventually I said, okay, well, I'm going to buy. I just want to buy it once now. I don't want to. So I just saved and saved and saved, and that's when Bright Tangerine came on the market, um, and their stuff was, I mean, absolutely gorgeous, just amazing and lightweight. I mean, that's why I work with them so much. I love their gear, their follow focus, their matte box. I have two of their matte boxes. I have the big Viv, and then I have that little bitty Misfit Atom. They've actually got a bunch of new ones now. I would love to buy one, but I mean, these work so well. I mean, you never need them. But yeah, matte boxes. If you have any questions, throw them out there. Anything, any kind of topic. Batteries, matte boxes, follow focus, lenses, cameras, tripods. I know Richard wants me to do tripods. Richard, look at, and I hate to do this, but I know you're on a budget. Look at Benro. Benro, I think it's the BM8, I think it's called. Look at that tripod combo. It's kind of a knockoff of Manfrotto, as everything is with Benro, which is why I don't particularly like to do it. But you know, if you're on a budget, how expensive are they? I got a cheap one, but I'm looking at upgrading or building 3D printing my own. So keep in mind. Let me see here. Is it Carwood? That's probably how you say it. Carwood. A matte box is multiple use, so it's not, with the exception of like the really small ones, close enough. Oh, Carwin maybe, probably Corwin, Carwin, probably Carwin. Then that on a typical high quality matte box, it is actually used as a handle sometimes on your camera. So 3D printing, I mean, I get it. Think about whether you would trust your half of your weight of your camera on your hand, grabbing a hold of that matte box, because that is something when you have it shoulder mounted, you may grab that corner up there to support it. So I wouldn't try to go cheap on it unless you just have to go cheap on it. As for their, they have the Misfit Atom, which is the one that I had on there that had the rubber outside. So you can usually find that on sale. I mean, I think the retail price is $500, but I have seen it as low. I'm pretty sure it was $300. I know I bought mine for like $349. I think B&H had it on sale. There's sales periodically where they run them cheap, and I mean that is a great matte box. It is definitely their least expensive matte box, and you can see it because it's a clamp-on based matte box, which you can adapt to go to rods, but it's clamp-on. It has that rubber outside. Their next one up from there is they have the Misfit. Now the Misfit is a clamp-on, but instead of the rubber, it has carbon fiber around it, but it's a more compact, very, very lightweight matte box. And then they also have now their Clash 138, which allows you to rotate on the Misfit and the Misfit Atom. It's basically, it's like a merger of the Misfit Atom and the Misfit with a rotational thing in there. They don't have the rubber, they have the carbon fiber, but it's super lightweight. The thing with like the Misfit Atom, since it doesn't have a rotatable drop-in, it's not a drop-in filter. You put it on the inside and it clamps in, and you can actually stack two. But in order to get like a polarizer, and you need to polarize, you actually rotate your matte box. For the most part, you'll never run into a problem with that. If you were on a super, super wide angle lens, I mean really, really wide, and you rotated, yeah, you're probably going to see it show up on your edges. So I mean, if you're super, super wide and you're rotating all the time, then you need to go to something that actually has a rotatable tray inside. And that's one of the reasons I got the Viv, which I had in that video. The Viv, um, with it also being expandable, so you could have one, two, or three. I think you could actually even do four, but I don't know that I would stack that many filters. I don't know what all you would need, honestly, for that. But um, you can stack three different trays or two different. Mine has two, and then you just add on the bracket for the third one, and you can rotate. So you can get your polarizer in there rotating. If you want to put one of those, who makes it? Schneider makes them. They emulate the light streaks that are formed from um, anamorphic glass, and so it's a thin filament that runs through the the actual filter itself. You may want to rotate that depending on how you want that to look, the direction of the light streaks themselves. The Viv is definitely more expensive. So, I mean, go to brighttangerine.com. I just look at the ones that are there. I mean, they sell them direct there, or you can buy them through B&H. B&H is vastly easier to purchase if you are in the U.S. If you're not in the U.S., if you're in England, I think Bright Tangerine directly is probably easier to buy. But yeah, I mean, cool stuff with the matte boxes. I mean, they live on my camera now. I'm either running the Misfit Atom or the Viv all the time on there, and it's nice. And I mean, the 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 negative thing to a matte box, and I may have mentioned it. I think I did a different one. I mean, once you step up to, I call them big boy matte boxes, but it's just it's a professional piece of gear that will last you for the rest of your life, basically, because that technology doesn't change. It's just they're better built or not. Same thing with filters. Filters evolve a little bit, but typically your filters are going to last you a lifetime. So you end up buying these filters, and I mean, some of these filters can cost $500-600 a piece when you're talking about the 4x5 5.65s. Um, so yeah, I mean, it becomes an investment when you buy your matte box, but you can rent those filters out. You can rent out matte boxes. I mean, a friend of mine makes cases. Let's see here. I went with the butcher and picked up some sausage for me and my friend. He's been passing on break. Yeah, I like sausage. I haven't been a huge fan of it lately. Um, I mean, let's see here. Looking on Bright Tangerine now, looks like a great range. Yep, they're also really good folks. I mean, really good folks. Um, the um, I mean, basically, I love their gear and I love them. They're super people, and I mean, anything they ask of me, I'm like, sure. They're like, hey, can we use your review? Absolutely, take my review. Hey, we like that footage in this such and such. Yeah, here it is. You can have it. Jim Shields Bright Tangerine is an excellent company with killer product. There you go, Jim. So Jim is going to be joining me on my road trip. You ready, Jim? You ready? Richard says, me too. Um, Jim, I have itinerary. You missed it earlier, um, for our journey. Um, Not remotely. You're not ready. You're not ready for. You're not ready for the road trip. Um, we are going to. We're shooting up to Santa Fe. We're going to do Meow Wolf Museum, then to Albuquerque to Petrified Forest to Sonoma, um, Arizona. Ready for the road trip, but I'm not prepared for it. Sonoma to Flagstaff to Grand Canyon to Horseshoe Bend to Zion National Park over to Vegas. And then that's where I'll bid you adieu. Also, you don't need to bring a chair. I'm going to bring my wife's chair. Um, I was thinking it'd be nice to not carry a whole bunch of extra gear. Yeah. I, this time I didn't want to bring a whole bunch. See, Carolyn. Oh wow, sounds like one hell of a time. Oh yeah, it's going to be from there. Jim takes off from there at NAB in Vegas, we go to Joshua Tree. From Joshua Tree, we go to Big Sur up to Redwoods, Redwoods over to Yosemite, Yosemite over to, I think we're doing Canyonlands and Arches. From there to Denver. Well, we're doing the national park in, well, we're going, so that on my last adventure where I time lapsed and I was hanging out at that lake in Colorado that was at 10,000 feet. We're going to go back there because it was so incredible. He was like, oh, yeah, let's go there. So we're going to go there, then to Denver, and then back down home. So it's going to be a hell of a journey again. One that I know well. Let's see. It's daytime. It is daytime here. We have to chat about gear a bit more since I'm flying home. I have to be judicious about what all I bring. Yep. That's why I figured you're not going to, if you brought a chair, I would end up having to carry your chair around anyway. So I might as well just bring my chair or bring my wife's chair and you can just sit in that. And then, I mean, are you flying Southwest, hopefully? If you're flying Southwest, you'll be just fine because you get 2 bags. Yes. So, Carwin, what do you, Carwin, I think. You know how long it takes a pig to turn into a hog? 3 weeks, I believe. I believe it's 3 weeks. I don't know. Amy is booking the flights this weekend. Okay, tell her to go Southwest. And here's your trick. So you have her, she's flying up there. So bring a big suitcase, a big one. Inside the big suitcase, pack the next size smaller suitcase, and then pack that. That way, you're bringing 2 or 3 suitcases. It's going to be 4 weeks, I think, or 3 weeks for the hog. Yeah. That way, you're bringing multiple suitcases, and then yeah, we have pig problems here in Texas. Jim, you're bringing like 2 suitcases, but you actually are bringing 4. You can do that. I do that every year at NAB when I would fly in. I would pack a big suitcase and inside the big suitcase put the next size because I always came back with like stacks of magazines and brochures and all kinds of stuff. And so that would go into the other suitcase and then all my clothes would go in the other. So you could have your girlfriend bring the big suitcase with a smaller one and then all your gear can go back in that. See? That's another tipper from the chipper right here. It's actually a nice day in the shade, actually. So what else is everybody working on? Jim, you keeping busy, buddy? I haven't gotten to chat with you in a while. I was going through all the stuff that I've been working on. I've actually been busy for a change, which is nice. I like money. I have a little bit. I want more, and that's where everyone comes in. Yeah, Carolyn, what all do you work on? What kind of stuff? What kind of camera do you shoot on? That kind of stuff. What kind of lenses? What type of work do you do? And then the other one. Oh, there it is. What was the name? I don't want to mispronounce this. Abhishek? Is that? How are you, Abhishek? I think I got that right. And things have been slow, bit of post work for here and there, and some stuff happening in April, May, but slow right now. Yeah. Another feeling. It's I mean, there was actually a lot of. I don't know why people want to schedule shoots during NAB. They always do. It's hilarious. Yeah, I'm finishing up a project now. I've got one next week, and then I've got 3 interviews to edit after NAB. And then there's supposed to be something in May. I'm just waiting on the deets for that. And then, yeah, I got to find some more work. I mean, I love working. It's the thing. I mean, I like staying busy. Carowin. So I used to work on BBC TV and independent UK film. Very nice, very nice. Did you switch to independent or what have you? I like. I too used to work in television. I worked on for ABC in the United States here, and yeah, television it gets old. It gets old because it is. You probably are familiar with the phrase "not invented here," which means if you didn't invent it at this at in like their broadcast or their ABC or BBC, then they don't use it at all. I got asked to do some custom titanium Glock slide picks for Amazon. Didn't know how to sell. Didn't know you could sell that stuff on Amazon. Yeah, I don't know. More local work for independent scene. Not as much cash, but more work. Yeah, but are you happier? And that's the thing. I mean, I worked many years before I went full time filmmaking. And I mean, I only, yeah, exactly. I mean, I've worked for, well, 28 years. I've worked professionally, both IT and television work. And I didn't go full time till last year. I've been working for years and years and years, but I didn't go full time, and it's been a struggle. But I've never been happier. I mean, family aside, family is always nice. But I mean, as far as like career and fulfillment and just personal happiness, I have never been happy. Even with the worst days where you're like, how am I going to eat this week? I've never been happier because you're in control of your own destiny and you're doing what you love. Oh, that's what I love. I want to try to do without sunglasses. The phone keeps overheating and dimming itself down, which makes it harder and harder. Jim, exactly. Yes, it's just, I mean, the life of independence is it's scary, but I mean, you'll never be more fulfilled, and I can't wait for things to start. I mean, things are rolling for me now. I've never been happier. Wait, I got a wife and kids, and I've been happier a few times. You got a wife and kids, Richard? um, where was I going with that? Now you threw me off. Yeah, I completely lost my train of thought. Way to go, Richard. Way to just pull it from left field and throw me off. Yeah, I just. Oh yes, I do have a wife and kids. Yes, I do. Oh yeah, that was where I was going. Um, when things really start rolling, which I think by this time next year it's going to be that way. Let's see here. Stopping at a factory job due to incoming bills, and recently I was asked to do things for some Hong cinema. Decided to get back into it. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to head to the coffee shop and get some work done. All these passion projects. I still see you, Jim. Oh, I know the feeling. I've been putting off going to going back to a day job kind of thing. I mean, I will if I must, I must. But so far, things have slowly started to ramp up where there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we can feel better about the future. And I think by this time next year, I think the wife's going to be with me full time, which is kind of nice. That will change things to have a full time PA that I don't have to pay. Well, I pay, but yeah, just to have a partnership there that'll work. I know some people can't work with their like their wives and everything, and I think it just depends on what it is. I mean, there's my wife and I. There's lots of things we could not work together on, but this we can because she loves that I'm happy and she loves helping, and it really would work out. I need some. What are some fun things to do with GoPros? I haven't done anything fun with a GoPro in a while. I don't even have. I've kept saying over the years, every time a new GoPro comes out, well, I don't buy every other. I buy basically every other one. A new one comes out, and I buy it. I'm like, okay, well, the other ones, I'm just going to use them for like just really, really throw them out. No, I'm going to use them for like stunt cams. Let's see. Currently working on my own project, which means no budget. So I'm shooting the Blackmagic and Canon lenses, 35 millimeter, 18 to 55, and a 35 to 80. Which Blackmagic are you shooting on? Um, I keep saying I'm going to use them as like just pure crash cams and just have some fun with them, but I can't bring myself to do that. And I have 6 GoPros now. Oh yeah, the BMCC 2.5, man, that was the camera that that really got me excited, and I was so close to buying that camera because I was looking at I think it was the 5D Mark III at the time, the C100, and that Blackmagic, and 2.5K is really cool, but it shot raw, and it shot a much higher quality um, than I was going to upscale with 4K, but then I have to upscale my PC to render. I understand the feeling. Uh, I just felt like, oh my God, this is going to be the camera because this thing it looks so much better. The codecs that it used, I mean, raw was clear, but it was so much more camera than the 5D or the C100. In the end, I went with the 5D Mark III, and the only reason was what was it? Oh shoot, the firmware. The I just went blank on it. The people that created that firmware that allowed you to shoot raw, something magic. I thought something magic allowed you to shoot raw on the 5D Mark III, and I was like, oh, that magic landed. There we go, Tim. Yeah, and I said this is it. So because with the excuse me, with the 5D Mark III, I could shoot both photos, time lapse, and video, whereas the C100 was just video, and the Blackmagic was pretty much just video. So when the Magic Lantern came out, I was like, yes, this is it. Never really used it that much. I found that when you're in a hurry, it's not worth it. But then everybody else's videos with like the Blackmagic 2.5, they look so much better. Plus the 5D, the best I could get, you were shooting 1080 widescreen, so it was like 1920 by like 852, and that was the fastest that I could put, 24 frames a second, the fastest I could put to a card. It was shooting on the compact flash, and you had to buy these $500 cards that could handle the 100 megabytes per second. That was it. That was it. Yeah, that was a good time. I did play with it a lot. It was a lot of fun. And then my progression from there was 5D to C100 to Red and the Blackmagic Ursa Mini 4.6, both of which were outstanding cameras. And now they got the new G2. So if you're a fan of the Blackmagic, I mean, the Pocket Cinema camera is every bit the camera that the 2.5 is, plus it's 4K, plus it shoots 60 frames a second, plus it's smaller. So if you ever get on the fence of moving from the 2.5, yeah, that Pocket would be really good. I've heard lots of great things about the Pocket. Yeah, so I mean, I did a review on it. If you want to watch my review, boy, I got a lot of flack on my review. My review was based upon, I have a GH5. Would I change? That was the one I'm going to upscale to. Yeah, from your 2.5, it'd be killer for you. You're already familiar with it. You get higher resolution, higher capabilities. You now get the Blackmagic RAW, which is much better for with compression. It's a good camera for you. You will absolutely love it. My review was I already have the GH5. It's super easy. Um, and here's the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Would I sell the GH5 to get it? And the answer was no, I wouldn't, because the GH5 did things that I needed that the Blackmagic did not. To me, picture-wise, I find them very comparable. Um, I did put the caveat that at the time Blackmagic Raw was not available. I said if Blackmagic Raw came available, that it would probably be something that I would probably move to. Um, but it wasn't at the time, so I kept the GH5. I mean, I still use the GH5. I think the GH5 is 95% picture quality of the Blackmagic in ProRes. In RAW, the Blackmagic's going to be far superior than that. But I mean, to each their own. I don't tell people that they should or should not buy a camera. I tell them my opinion. I tell them the positives and the negatives, and I let people make their own decisions. That's just how I work, because, in the end, you're the one that has to deal with the purchase that you make. So I don't want you holding me responsible for that. I want you to make the decision, and I just give you all the details that I have. The 2.5, man, that camera, I remember those days. Oh, it's so bright, so bright. My eyes are watering. Putting my glasses back on. Oh yeah, and then they after the 2.5, they had the 4K, and then they had the little pocket camera. And the pocket camera, man, that was a little machine. I tell you what, it was pretty awesome. But it didn't do RAW. I believe the pocket only did. I think it only did ProRes. I think that's right. Yeah. What else is everybody working on? I am working on a box of Welch's fruit snacks. Yeah, I've been meaning to get more stuff out on the channel. I've been so buried with the commercials and some of this other stuff and prep and planning. It's been murder, but it's been very enjoyable, very much wanted and desired murder. So I guess that's the thing. I probably just got demonetized just for saying that. Grill store guy didn't call me. Well, that happens. That happens. Have you done a pork roast? I've had more cash. I would, but that's something for the future. What I like is the frame rates on there were great, and they looked really good. You can shoot 4K 60 frames a second. That is really, 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 really nice. I find like the GH5 will shoot 180. Pork loin. The GH5 will shoot 180 frames a second, but I almost always, when I'm shooting slow motion on the GH5, I'm shooting 4K 60 because it has that nice look. Now, when I'm on the red, I crank that bad boy up. I shoot at 120 all the time on that thing. I just love it. It's 5K 120. Yeah, that's awesome. The new G2, the Ursa Mini Pro G2 4.6. That's got a lot of features. I'm looking forward to seeing that at NAB in 2 weeks. The others seem very excited, but the grandson never made contact. Okay, well, that is that, as they say. It's like blue jean sky, so it's like solid blue. You can't time lapse. You can't really do anything. The leaves are almost out though. Wow. Richard, you ever use one of these cam lapse? This was God, I've had this thing for like 4 or 5 years. Back before I had the cool thing called the Kessler sliders and the Kessler second shooter. To get motion in your time lapse, use this cam lapse, which is just an egg timer, and then you attach your GoPro to it, and then it does this very slow arc, as seen on Sky. Yeah, no kidding. I don't know. These things were like $20. Made in China. Nothing but the best for me, Clark. But yeah, we just sit there. We just do the slow time lapse as it turns. I carry that thing around everywhere I go. I rarely use it, but I carry it around. Good times, good times. So, Carolyn, you got any other questions out there? Tim, I still love the egg timer for the simplicity with GoPro. Yeah, exactly. I tell you, God, I don't know why. I don't know why GoPro won't offer a different lens. I mean, come on. Just give me a non-fisheye lens. I mean, I get it. Sports is your thing. But if you had the option, just a slight different option on there, it would change this completely. I think it'd be used a hell of a lot more. Stop buying them. No, there's no other options. Have you seen the interchangeable? Yeah, but the 7, I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago. The 7 is not the same as the 5 and the 6 interchangeable lenses. There's that one company that has them. The only way you can get the 7 with the interchangeable lens hack is you have to send them yours. My wife is asking, how did I cut the wood? You have to send them yours or buy them from them, and then they'll convert it. I'm a DIY guy. I like to do it myself. Yeah, those little the security camera B4 C4, I think C4 mounts, I think they're called. That's what I would love to have on there. Just the non. I mean, even if they went to on like the 4, when you went down to like 2.7K, you could window it and allow it to be non-fisheyed, and it looked so much better. But they dropped that completely. I have the 4. I have a 3, a 4 silver, a 4 black, a 5, a session 5, and a 7. And I mean, the 3 is horrible. I don't know why I don't destroy that thing. I could just have some fun with it. The 4s, I really like the 4s. I think they work really well. The 4 black is a cool camera. The 5 was okay. The only reason I got the 5 was at the time I bought their GoPro gimbal, and the 5 worked better with that because it would charge it and do all of these things. It's my Terminator. Wow, I only have 1 card with me? Wow, that's a fail. I guess I'll be shooting very little on GoPro today. Get away from me, Wasp. Get away. Get away. Oh, get. Homie, don't play that. I won. Scott's investment. Where to buy go? What can I do? There's got to be something I could do with a GoPro. Just like attach them all over my body and walk around. Just GoPro man. This is over here. So I can charge, but I can't. Well, that sucks. The GoPro clamp. These are really good. These are really good for the Mercedes. It's all mounted on there. All right, who's got questions? Come on. Who's got questions? Somebody's got questions. I'm here for you, and you're here for me. So let's have a conversation. Let's ask some questions. Let's get some good questions going on. Like, do I hate wasps? Yes, I do. Wow, that's a big grasshopper. Um, Anybody ever wonder why gnats only fly into your eye and your nose? I've never understood that. Always makes me wonder. Uh, Come on, what's going on, peoples? What's going on? I'm gonna. Here we go. Here we go. I want a big chunk of gold, like a lock, something, and then scroll work on it. Oh yeah, yeah. I could say the gold. If I had a big chunk of gold, I'd sell it. A big chunk of gold doesn't do me any good. A paid off van, that would do me good. That'd do me real good. I'd like that. Oh, the dreams, the dreams. See, I could do the van life for a year at a time. I could do it. I'd need my wife to go with me, um, and I would do it as a pure filmmaker. But I wouldn't do it to like have experiences, which is the big van life thing right now. I would do it to tell stories and tell the stories, not vlog, although I'd probably vlog as well, but just to create stories of beautiful places and things. I can't just sell everything and just have it all in the van. I'm not interested in that. There's like 12G lock for yeah. I need a place to come back to, so that I could take a break, store stuff. $670 would buy you a tripod. Um, yeah, so when you have to have a home base, then you have to have a house so that you can safely store stuff. And when you have a house, then you have a mortgage. And when you have a mortgage, you need a job. So you can't just roam the country. I I do like these van life people. It is interesting how a lot of them do it. They hold on, let's see. Any idea for a good motorized slide for the camera? I'd like to build the motion control rig. I built a slide which works, but I need something with a little more control. Well, Carwin, as a matter of fact, I do. Um, I know budget's a concern. Is it for um, is it for time lapse, or is it for actual motion picture? So if it's time lapse, the yeah, Cinedrive, that's the upper end. Time lapse is TLS from Kessler. It is basically it's a motion. Okay, so for motion, you can get. I'm going to use Kessler because I'm very familiar with their products, and I have almost all of them. I love them so much. They have a slider called the Pocket Dolly, and it's I mean they have them in 21, 28, and 36-inch length, and they'll hold up to about 15 pounds. And then they have a product called the Second Shooter Plus, and the Second Shooter Plus is a little control box. Um, and then you put motors. And so there's a pan and a tilt, and then there's a motor for the slider, and it all runs off this little box. Um, the box is either super simple or really complicated, depending on how you want to do it. The box itself, you can do 3 keyframes in it, so you can have it point over here and point over here, and so it'll slide like this. Um, you could also have it be super complex. You can use an iPad and use their Chaos software, which I think gives you 30 keyframes now. So you could actually program this thing to do a whole bunch of different moves over a period of time, and it's really powerful. And it is, and I'll put this as air quotes because there are cheaper brands out there, but it is the least expensive, repeatable motion control out there for slider. The so there's the other brand, Syrup, I think it is, and I'm actually going to do a video on this. But Syrup makes a slider that is much less expensive than a Kessler, but it uses string. It's using string wrapped around a spool to go back and forth. So it'll do a slide, but it's not repeatable. So like one of the things that I've enjoyed doing, when you have a actual repeatable that is clocked so that it does the exact same thing exactly at the same time, you can run it a full run, and then like take your talent and move them over 8 feet and run it again. And then you could draw a line, take your video and cut it in half and match the two together. And it will be seamless to them. There won't be any shift at all in there, which is what you can do with a repeatable motion control rig. So, I mean, you can start off with just the slider, and then you add just the single axis motor and the controller, and so you get your pan, or you can do a push and pull. Then the Second Shooter Plus is expandable. I think it goes up to six different axes, so you can do pan, tilt, no, pan, tilt, slide, focus, iris, and zoom. You can do all of that with a an expanded configuration. But it's a really cool option. So, I mean, I would recommend go out there and look at KesslerCrane.com and look at their pocket dolly, and then their Second Shooter Plus. I mean, if you are on a super tight budget, I mean, you can look at the Syrup stuff. I'm not here to trash other brands. I love Kessler stuff. I love Kessler. I love the man behind the company. It's good stuff. The moment I'm using a home built slider from extruded aluminum. Yep, it moves at 1 meter powered by a 12-volt motor, and it moves side to side fixed. Yep. That is very similar how their TLS system, the Kessler TLS it's designed. I mean, it will work for camera, but for motion, to me, it's more susceptible to like imperfections, like dirt or anything that gets in the thing. And they use like the extruded 80/20 aluminum track, and then they have the sled that slides into it, and it has the motor and everything built on, so it goes up and down the sled, and it's repeatable as well. It's really good for time lapse because you don't have it moving. In rare instances with motion, I've had where like sand gets in there, it'll stutter. It's not a design flaw. It's just not really what it's designed for. It's really designed for time lapse. But I mean, I've been the home belt way for many years. In fact, 2040. So the 2080, as you can tell, gives you a little wider stance, which is great for stability. And that's one of their selling points of the and Tim is from Kessler. He works support for them. He'll help you look at options. I mean, they're good people. I really do love them. They're all just high fives to all of them. The concept behind the TLS with Kessler is you just bring the block, and then wherever you go, you just buy the 80/20 wherever you are. It's supposedly readily available. Depends on the size of the city, whether it's readily available. But I mean, you can go buy a stick of it that's 10 feet long, and you got a 10-foot slide. A friend of mine, he does. Well, in Britain they had a different House of Cards, but the American House of Cards on Netflix, the intro scene for House of Cards was shot by a buddy of mine, Drew. He uses the TLS for all of that, but it's all time lapse, so it makes more sense. So, yeah, I mean, look at the options from Kessler. I mean, I love them, and like I said, I would urge you to look at them, but If the budget is tight, I get it. I get it completely. I will. I will never tell people you must buy this. I give them the options. That's what I love to do, because people are people. Communication. But yeah, you can reach out to Tim there. Um, Check out their online store. What is it? store.kesslercrane.com. And then yeah, I always just tell people, I said, if you end up buying something from Kessler, just tell them Scott sent you. That way I can get a smile. But I mean, they kind of know. I get nothing. I get nothing from them. It's pure love, and it's like I was talking about earlier. I don't think you were on at the time. Is that I like to make connections with companies and deal with people. Is it going to depend on whether my boss says give me overtime this month? I understand too. I've got a boss. I'm married to my boss. No, I completely get it. I mean, I I have very tight budgets as well. Right now, I'm on the tightest budget I have been in a long, long time, and it stinks. But like you said, like I said, like everyone else says, you couldn't be happier. I'd rather live life on my terms than someone else's. So yeah, it's all good. Um, home built stuff. Moved away from it. Was getting that control. I played with motors with string. I did that, and it works. It's just motors. The motors that are available are not designed for filmmaking. They're not quiet. They're not. Yeah, it's all pretty modular, so you can start with something and access motor. Yeah, this is true. That is very much the thing on the Kessler stuff. You start with one product and you just grow it. You can grow it all the way out, and you're like, oh wait, my rig is now 6-axis, and I've got the pocket dolly. So you move up to the Cineslider or something bigger. And so you get something heavier, and then you're like, oh well, now I'm bigger. I'm into the dolly, and then you just go on up to the next. I have the Cineslider. I have their TLS, and I have their shuttle dolly. Their shuttle dolly is it's very much like the home builts that you see a lot of people done, where they use skateboard wheels, but it's definitely a more well thought out plan than us home builders would do. But like all that second shooter gear that you can put on the pocket dolly, you can mount it right on top of the shuttle dolly, and it works. The funny thing was, before Kessler came out with the shuttle dolly, I owned a Dana dolly. The Dana dolly is like one of the original platform kind of dolly deals, but I would motorize it with the Kessler stuff. So I would had seat clamps, and I'd clamp the motor sections on there, and then have it go across on my pipe so that I could use motion control with a Dana dolly. And then when they came out with the shuttle dolly, it was like, nope, I'll just have that. Good times. Who else got questions? What else can I answer? I love talking, obviously. There are people singing. I fitted a geared 12 volt with 2 cutoff switches and either. And how many times do you think the sled slammed it? Yeah, we're our own worst enemies, home builders, because we think, oh yeah, that'll be just fine. That'll be just fine. But we never anticipate being distracted. We never anticipate needing to use it more than like 10 times. I had built a sled dolly out of wood, and what was it? The inline skate wheels. So instead of like roller skate wheels, they were the very narrow ones. And I was using it. It was great. It was super smooth. There's videos out there of it from like 2005 of me out there pushing it around. But I didn't anticipate that I had used very soft wheels, and I had them sitting in my garage for like a month in between times of using it. So I go out to use it the next time, and the wheels were flat. As they roll up and go, but That's the kind of things that, where you get a manufacturer that's going to like figure it all out for you. I mean, it gets to it. Making it go is easy, but making it stop is more important. Yeah, very, very true. That is. I mean, the I'll give you an example of something that I would do with like the Kessler sliders and motion control that I would not do with anything that I home built. So you could take the Kessler slider and turn it vertically. Flat spotting, say, yeah, no kidding. Flat spotting is horrible. You can take the Kessler and go vertical. No, Fez, I'm doing a school project for the 50th anniversary of school. I have to make a film about the history of our school. What is important, what not? Well, no phase. Give me one moment. I'll get back to you. So the vertical, you can go vertical on the Kessler and put your camera on it where it rises up and down. Would you trust your home built with a camera sitting up top? I wouldn't, but I do it with the Kessler. So no phase. What is important? Well, you need to do. Let me read this. Need to doing for the 50th anniversary of school. I have to make a film about the history of our school. Well, you need to outline the history. Go dig in and find out how did the school get started? What was it that needed? Why did they need this school? You want to end up telling a story. This is an idea, so don't take it exactly as this. Mold it into your own, but gives you the thought process. Why was there a school needed? Ask these questions about the school. What was it that they needed a school for? So the population boom or something like that. Maybe it was World War II or something, and they needed a school, so they expanded. They start building a school. Great. What was their intentions? What did they plan for it to be versus what is it now? Obviously, it's probably grown quite a bit since it originally started. What were these growing pains? What did they hope to accomplish? What did they accomplish? What trials and tribulations came along the way, and how did they overcome those? What you could tell that story from so many different ways. Tell it from 50 years ago and tell it today, side by side. And they're using textbooks then, they're using textbooks now, or they're using textbooks and they're using iPads. I don't know. I mean, you need the story to be compelling. You need it to be interesting, but you also need it to relate. So you need to tell it in a way that today the students that go there would be interested in. I mean, there's so many different ways. You could tell it from the past towards the future, or you could tell it from the future towards the past. You could tell it from the point of view of how do they possibly learn with let's see, how should I change from one scene to another scene? For example, from the history of typical trips, we have winter trip in the mountains. You need to create an outline. And so dig into the history, dig into the present, dig into this whole thing, and start mapping all of these things out on an outline. This is where it started. These are the things that have happened, et cetera, et cetera. Use those as your story arc. And your story arc is, I mean, you already have your answer for your story. The answer is you made it 50 years. It's a true story. So the arc is there, and it's still going to go. But your story arc is, we started out hard, and it was difficult, and they needed it to be successful, and it did. And now we succeeded, and your arc doesn't actually end. It kind of moves forward in the future. But as you map these things out over time, start to do these trips in there. Maybe they took these trips 50 years ago. I don't know. I don't know much about your school, but did they take these trips? Did these trips evolve over the years? Start throwing those in that outline, and then in the timeline. So cool to get interviews with graduate. That's true, Tim. Yeah, very good. First class. If you can find someone from, yeah, they would be 68 years old. How things have changed or stayed. Should we do it like a documentation or with a speaker in the background or text? Uh, you don't want to do a PowerPoint presentation. I mean, I would definitely want to approach it from a documentary. And like Tim was saying, if you could get some interviews from people who went 50 years ago, just a couple of interviews, and then maybe get some from 25 years ago, maybe some from 10 years ago, and then maybe some from now. And then you tell those stories, have them, you just cut parts of their stories back for those points in time as you're telling the short history. I mean, this story doesn't need to be very long. I mean, 5 minutes is plenty. But you could, having an old guy or girl, back in my day, we didn't have iPads, we had books. That kind of story at the beginning. You find some old photos in the library of the school back when it was first done. Use those. You have to do a Ken Burns kind of slow push in, or you could do the I forget what they call it, the parallax effect in the photos, where if there's like something in the foreground of the photo and something in the background, you cut out the foreground, enlarge it, and then you can actually have it move. You just animate the front and the back differently. So it gives you just a little bit of style. You can have that playing over listening to the person talk. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go with that. There's no wrong way to tell it. We already made interviews with the students. The school was built from the 60s, and we have students from the 80s up to 2012. Do you have any from the 60s? That would be cool. I mean, you have a history, and you need to tell that history. Well, you have that outline, you build that, and you want to tell that from the parts from those interviews. So find supporting statements from these different people, and it would be nice to put, if you did like an actual stand-up interview where you're actually interviewing them and it looks nice. I mean, cut to them. Joanne, student, 1972. You just have her, she's talking, and then you cut to some photographs, or yearbooks are a great way to get, and your school probably has a yearbook from every year. Scan those in, take the photos from that. I mean, it's hard to get video out of history because they may or may not have had video. But I mean, you can do a lot with the photos from yearbooks and the stories from the people that you've already interviewed, and just keep that story interesting. Your intended audience, I'm guessing, is going to be today's youth, today's members of the school. So try to gear it towards that. If you've already done your interviews, then you probably can't ask the questions. But if you have the opportunity to get more interviews, ask the questions based upon the way you do things today. For instance, when I was going to school, we didn't do PowerPoint. They actually, I'm an old guy, but they had the overhead projectors with the clear transparencies that they would roll. It was just a roll of it, and they would sit there with like dry erase markers on there, and that's how they would do everything. And then they'd roll the next, and they keep doing that. That's how we did it, and that was back in the 80s and 90s. How did they do it before that? Because now they're just popping up a slideshow from presentations. You could talk about I don't know. There's a lot of different ways there. I mean, there's no wrong way to do it, but I would definitely try to map out an outline of the history, and then try that way. Recommend finding someone who's brutally honest. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're not going to have conflict unless you put it in there, because history doesn't typically record conflict for schools. But maybe the conflict is you had a winning football team for 32 years and then it went to nothing. Something like that, or maybe it was the best school around until they built this other one, and then you had to overcome that. You got to find some conflict somewhere to keep the story compelling. Yeah, there's, I mean, lots of ways. I found old pictures and photos. Um, should I bring them into the video? Should I take a picture of them, or there's always the light reflection. Yeah, the best way would be to photocopy them, or scan them. Not photocopy, but scan them in. So lay the book down because you'll get a non-reflective scan at that point. Taking a picture of them, I mean, it's a last resort because you will get glare. Yeah, I mean, you should have a scanner there, a little flatbed scanner at school. Even the copy machines there should have the ability to scan, and just lay the book on there and scan the whole page. Try to scan it as high as possible. That way it gives you something to go with. And you can do, I mean, photos back then, they're all going to be odd shaped because they're going to be coming out of a yearbook. So it's okay to have like 2 or 3 photos, like they come in and then another one comes in, another one comes in, so that you're filling up your screen, but you don't want to keep it too busy. And then if you got the good interviews, I mean, I would. I'll tell you a good example of the way I'm visualizing it. If you've seen the movie Interstellar, the very beginning of Interstellar, where they were interviewing like the old people that supposedly lived back in the day before time travel existed, that kind of thing. That way of doing it, you have them. You're interviewing these older people, and you're putting pictures up, and you're putting videos to support it, and then you're progressing over time of how things have been. I mean, I hope that gave you some information or insight. I mean, it's photographs are tough because the more it looks like you just put a photograph up there, the less interested people are. I mean, think about it. Instagram. This is how long your photograph lasts. So you need to put motion in your photograph. The best way to do the motion of the photograph, look up photograph parallax technique. You can look that up on YouTube. I've actually been meaning to do a video on it. Wow, missed that. And it's basically you're just taking a photo and you're cutting out the background, the middle ground, and the foreground, and you're enlarging them slightly so that you can move them. We made, for example, shots where we walked down the stairs. We thought we could use it as a. I'll tell you what you could do with that. If there are photos of those stairs, recreate that photo from the past with people from the present. So if you have a 50-year-old photo where a bunch of I don't know. I'm assuming this is a high school, but a bunch of high school students are standing on the stairs. Get the exact number of students from today and pose them on those same stairs. Try to frame it exactly the same and transition from one to the other. And you could actually transition from the old photo, transition it to video, and then they start walking. You can go black and white to color in the video, and then they start walking. You can freeze frame it and then do some motion. There's lots of ways to transition that kind of way, to go back and forth. You could, it would be fun, but very difficult to transition back and forth. So you could transition from black and white old photo, and then it morphs into a color of today, but it's freeze framed, and then they start walking and doing everything. And you cut to a bunch of motion scenes. And then to transition back to old, take something that you want to transition to, like an old student just sitting there working, and try to get another student to emulate what they were doing and get them into that position. Maybe they were just a student that had their head down on their desk. So have a current student, same shot, same angle, have a current student just put their head down on their desk, turn it to black and white, then morph it into the photo, and now you can go back and forth in time. And it's ideas. Hopefully that has sparked some creativity for you. And not all my ideas are great. Some of them are stinkers, but it's not about the way I would do it. It's about how it will inspire you to do it, because everybody has their own flavor. But don't don't limit yourself. Think about all these different ways, and think about how we just came to those, just kind of chatting it through, and do the same thing to yourself, and talk yourself through this. You can come up with 100 different ways to do that. You can have a lot of fun. I would definitely use that transition technique for school of yesterday to school of today. Try to get the exact same shot if you can. You could have a lot of fun with that. Oh, my voice is going. What is it time? Is it? Oh, it's like 4 o'clock. I don't know why my watch says play. Yeah. All right. Anybody got any other questions? I've been going for hour and a half plus here. And Nose Phase Gaming, please subscribe. I'm from Germany. Nice. I have a lot of friends in Germany, actually. It's very cool. But I mean, was it? It's winter there, isn't it? Or fall? It should be fall there, I think. You can have a lot of fun. Bertram, late to the party. How's life, Scott? Life is busy, Bertram. Man, I mean, super super busy. So I was trying to do a live stream here, just try to give it as much time as I could. Doing editing commercials. Got work next week, and then the long trip to NAB. I mean, just busy, busy, busy. I haven't been putting much on my channel. And No Phase, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Would love to see how you progress on your video. It'll be cool to see it. Actually, you can send it to me. Yeah, Bertram, just super super busy. I've been neglecting the. Oh, thank you. Been neglecting the SB50 challenge group, not on purpose, but just with lack of time. I've been under tight deadlines for some commercials, and it's required a lot of my time. This is my first weekend to actually get a little relaxing in. Wow, is that why I'm hot? The sun is on my back. But yeah, how's No Phase? Have you checked out the SB50 Cinematography Challenge? You'll see a couple of those videos on my channel. Those are that's a good way to work on your cinematography. It's just a group of folks all over the world we're just issuing challenges on cinematography, trying to build everybody up. Been slacking on SB50 for some reason. Real estate has started early this year. Well, that's good though. Money is good. I like money. I have a little. I'd like more. That's my favorite. What is it from? That's The Wedding Singer. That is a good. I'm gonna move this. Good storyline right there. I need to get out of the sun. There we go. I'm wearing my Matthews Grip shirt today because I knew I was going to live stream. There's the hatchet. The video has to be something about 10 minutes, and we plan to do like 1.5 to 2 months to edit. Is that a good time? Or depends on what you got. It really depends. I mean, you're going to spend, if you're going to do those kind of transitions, you're going to spend a good amount of time just doing those transitions, just taking photos and chopping them up like that. So yeah, I think it's a good budgeted amount of time. I assure you, during that time, you're going to be sick of looking at that video. So just take a break, come back to it, and be fresh again. And you'll be surprised what you come up with. Never get discouraged by your work. Just take a break. We have 2 people that nice. Sounds like you at least got a good team that you can work on, and you can go back and start rattling off all these ideas. See what spark in return, and build this thing. You got a lot of work ahead, but you have a good grasp. You have a lot of good ideas you can work with here. You can make this happen. We have faith in you. I want to cut this log. This log does not want to cut. I've just been chopping wood for the fire. All right, everybody. It is been for 100 minutes. That's pretty good. pretty good live stream, I think, today. Sorry, I'm not at my normal place. I just needed a break. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to put those in the comment down below. If you want to super chat me, hey, I love super chats. You can do that too. If you want to support me via Patreon, you can do that too. I always love my Patreon supporters. And then yeah, feel free to tell everybody about this channel. We are growing. We grow fast and slow, but we're always growing because I'm never giving up on this channel. And then, yeah, as I always like to leave it, don't let your passions center around your life. Let your life center around your passions. No phase of drone. Yeah, you can do a drone. I don't think it'll match. I don't think you'll have a drone shot from the past. So keep that in mind. If you have any other questions, no phase, put them down in the comments below this live stream, and I'll try to get back to you. Y'all